you have to ride them waves.
What is up, Charlotte FC fans? Danny Brams here. Welcome back to another edition of Charlotte Soccer Show. It's a huge week. We gave the people what they want with an episode recorded last night, dropped this morning on all your feeds, and now we're back with a live stream here on a Wednesday night. Thanks to everybody who's popping in. I already see several hundred of you waiting in the chat to get your comments in, and that's always appreciated. We're going to do a little thing that we like to call a BanterCast here ahead of the big showdown, Charlotte FC versus InterMiami. Just an absolutely massive match, as everyone can see, because when you look at these standings, there's Charlotte FC, top 4 in the East, looking good. You see Miami down in 6th, but those games in hand are going to work in their favor. If they were to win all 4 games that they have in hand against the other top teams, they actually would jump ahead of Philadelphia. We pointed that out last night. So it's up to Charlotte to stop that. 5 games left in the regular season. We can't wait. There's going to be some missing in action participants. No Luis Suarez for Miami. We're going to get some thoughts on that briefly. No Dean Smith for Charlotte FC. I guess managers can get yellow cards and get suspended. Who would have thought? Wilf Zaha, the man of the hour, the man of the season, the magic man of Charlotte FC, said a lot today, did about 35 minutes with local media in Charlotte, and I've got a few sound bites pulled for you. The first one I'm going to play before we welcome our guest is here's Wilf's thoughts on what it's going to take with Dean Smith, the gaffer, out for this massive matchup.
The gaffer definitely does make a difference, but I feel like the older players, like me, Ash, Nath, Tim, we're going to have to be the gaffer's voice on the pitch. We're going to have to lead the boys, because obviously it's decent with the gaffer shouting all the stuff we need to do, but once you're there on the pitch, it's you, and obviously there's a few younger players or whatever, but I feel like us being the older players, we'll just have to do what the gaffer does since he's not there. I don't mind that.
I don't mind it either, Wilf. I got to admit, I will drink to that. Still cranking on this Burial 6-pack that I got the other day at Harris Teeter. Loving the surf wax as we ride the waves. And once again, a shout out to the people who are jumping in the chat. I see a great fan of the show, Jorge Torres, says, we're all coming back from the Meet the Team. That's right. It was the Charlotte FC Meet the Team event for the season ticket holders. Joseph Doak, another great, tremendous friend of the show. Welcome. Thanks for jumping in the stream. Thanks for commenting. I'll drink to the Meet the Team. Hopefully everybody got a bunch of good autographs there. And it's a good thing. So without further ado, John and I talked a lot about our thoughts in the episode we did this morning. So you can definitely go back and get that. But we thought we would bring in a Miami fan, great guy, Daniel Granada, guy I've had the pleasure of podcasting with on his show, the Battered Herons Podcast, the Battered MLS Fans Podcast, which is like a league-wide show. Great podcaster based in Miami. And we brought him in for some abuse. Daniel, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming to take the licks with some Charlotte fans. The tables have finally turned.
Yeah, because I was clowning on Charlotte for a while because you guys, I don't know what happened. I thought you guys would be the only team before the season started. I said the only team I think can end up above Miami by the end of the season would be Charlotte. And then you guys made me look like idiots because you guys just started crashing and burning. But you finally turned it around. I'm not sure what exactly it was that Dean Smith did to turn it around. But the last time you were on the MLS show, you said Dean Smith for Manager of the Year. I don't know if you put the hex out, the jinx. You guys crashed and burned soon thereafter, but things have turned around. What exactly happened? Is it soft competition?
Well, I think it's a mix of things. It's a mix of getting guys back from injury. It's a mix of Toklamati taking off and starting to score goals, bag goals all over the place after Ajamong left. It's a mix of finally getting some home matches. We went 6+ weeks without a home match in the end of May, throughout the whole month of June and into July. That was not fun. So the MLS schedule makers did us no favors, and some late lapses of concentration against Sporting KC and Philly. It was rough.
Yeah,
it was rough, but it was not soft competition, as our commenters will say. It was just kind of we have a saying here that Dino likes to say, which is,
it'd be great if performances just went like that, and it never does. There's always a little downturn somewhere, and you have to ride them waves, and
you got to ride them waves.
But that wasn't a wave. That was a plummet. You guys plummeted. Yeah,
different wave. Yeah, it was a big different wave.
But you guys definitely went straight back up, because the run you guys have been on has been impressive.
8 straight and looking for more. I think it's a beautiful thing. It would tie the MLS record if Charlotte FC was to get this win at home against Miami. It would tie the record of 9 straight wins set by the Seattle Sounders in 2000. That's your post-shootout era stat. And we talked about Dean Smith, Daniel, right? I started the show with thoughts on Dean Smith missing the game. Luis Suarez is going to miss the game. Your striker. From a Miami fan, I want to know, is that addition by subtraction because he's so old now and he's just decrepit and he can't score? Are you going to take a moral stand against the spitter and just be glad that he's serving his punishment? Where are we at from Miami fans on the Suarez situation?
Okay, so as far as Miami fans, a lot of fans want to see him gone. Me, I've never liked Luis Suarez, so I didn't want him on the team. But I knew that he would be a good player because he had been the best player in Brazil the year prior before coming. So I knew he would be good. Last year, he played great. This year, he hasn't been able to finish, but he's been creating. He leads the team in assists. Mm-hmm. He's tied with Messi in assists. So although you expect the striker to finish. That's your number one job. But he is creating for others, which is also a secondary job for the striker, and he's doing that well. With that said, because I'm not a big fan of him as a person, I'm okay with him not being here. I hope that the team can go ahead and find a way to get creative players on the pitch now that he won't be available. Now, Miami has players and that could create that haven't been getting consistent chances to start. The worry is that one of the players that has been hot garbage for us has been Tadeo Allende, and the fear is that they're going to throw him up as the 9 now that Luis Suarez isn't there. But we do have other players that Miami fans want to see out there. We want to see Messi play as a false 9 with those 2 players flanking him, but we're not sure what's going to happen yet. We don't trust Mascherano. We don't like Mascherano. But this is his chance to kind of prove everybody wrong and get out there and show us that he's not an idiot.
Is Mascherano really just there because he's friends with Messi? Is that the only reason he has the job?
Absolutely. Outside of that, the only coaching experience he had was coaching the Argentine U20 team.
Right.
Okay. And they were one of the favorites in 2 major tournaments. Okay. He flamed out of both of them. And then he didn't qualify for the U20 World Cup, but because they got eliminated, and then I forgot what country it was going to be in, but they had to relocate it, and they relocated it to Argentina. Therefore, they automatically qualified, and then again, they burned out. So he was a failure in the one coaching experience he had, and up until now, he hasn't been very good either. So,
yeah, it sounds like he keeps failing up. And as one of our commenters, Miem, says, Mascherano's a rookie just starting his career. Nice to get the reins of a super team like Messi and the boys in Miami.
You don't want a rookie coach for this type of team. This type of team, you got to win now. You can't have growing pains.
Yeah, I agree. And this is a team that kind of dominated all last year of the regular season, then fell flat on their face in the playoffs, right? So not a good situation. I have to sense there's some fear. And I'm going to play another soundbite. And again, you're my boy. I appreciate you coming in to, we're going to give you some stick. We're giving Miami some stick.
Go for it. You guys believe in Zaha, so you've said enough.
Yeah, well, this is Will Zaha on the topic of the whole thing, which is spitting. This is pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I'd rather you try to punch me, pull my hair, do anything. Spitting, yeah, that is ridiculous. That's where I draw the line. You cannot spit at anyone. So that's just me. I think you can do a lot of other things, but spitting at me, yeah, it's over.
Do people try to pull your hair while you're playing?
No one's ever tried to pull my hair. Okay. But I'm just saying, I'm just giving you a list of all the other millions things you can do. But spitting at me, that's just degrading, and yeah. So I don't know.
I mean, you were never going to have someone come out in favor of spitting, but that's a pretty strong batch of comments there against spitting.
No, because Chris and I did Battered Herons last night, and we had that conversation. I said, what's worse? And the only thing we could come up with is urinating on somebody. Like if I get I think that's worse than spitting. But at that point, you have to remove clothing. Like it's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
When you're keeping your clothes on, I think that's as degrading as you can get. So I'd rather get punched in the face. I much rather get punched in the face. I'll punch you back. You spit in my face. I don't know. It's just degrading, and I don't think there's anything worse. So I am 100% in agreement with what Saha said.
And it's funny how it came up, it's like Suarez is the trendsetter. Like as soon as he gets in trouble for spitting at the whole Seattle thing, all of a sudden there's spitting going on in the NFL, spitting going on in college football. It's weird how this stuff just tends to feed on itself. But it's funny because Miami was already a hated team. They're already like a target, and there's so many people that get mad about the salary, mumbo jumbo that they pull off, and the way they've sort of built this super team is sort of almost in defiance or extreme stretching of the MLS salary rules. You already have the target on your back. Now everyone has this sort of just like it's so easy. It's really easy to take a moral stand against spitting, So it's like all of a sudden everyone feels like they have the right to just criticize Miami. Do you feel a little bit as a Miami guy like that you're a pariah, and does that motivate the team or make the fan base feel a little like chip on the shoulder?
I think fan bases in general like to be the one that's hated. Like if your team was like, you felt like everybody against us, it's kind of almost like a rallying cry. So people enjoy that. I was buying into the whole villains thing. In the shop, we have batterfans.com. We made a villain shirt for InterMiami, and I was wearing it that night because whether we won or lost, we're the villains, right? But they kind of ruined it, right? Because you want to be the villains because you hate it because people don't understand how you got the players. But when you start doing that stuff, it's so hard to embrace the villain when I don't like what you did either. So, but for the most part, Miami fans enjoy that, right? They're used to it with the big three in Miami. With the LeBron, Wade, Bosch. They did the whole Miami versus everybody, and I think that it's a rallying cry, and I think people enjoy it. I think the team doesn't mind it either, but I think Luis Suarez kind of ruined that a little bit because it's hard to embrace that.
Yeah, and like you said, not even some fans, like you're a hardcore fan, and you'd be happy enough just to see Suarez, take his ball and go home at this point and move on to what's next in Miami. So, do you miss Leo Campana at all? I mean, he's scoring, he's banging in the goals for New England. No, he had his chance last year when Messi and Suarez went off to Copa America, and he did absolutely nothing with his chance. So but we have no backup striker, literally no backup striker. So enough talk about the guys that aren't going to be there. Dean Smith, Suarez, not there. We did have one great comment from Joseph Doak who says, "I want Dean in the stands Saturday, giving instructions to our assistant." Just like Mascherano.
That would be awesome.
My theory is he should sit in the supporter section and go nuts and chug beer with us and stuff.
That's what we said. We said Mascherano, as much as I dislike him, he'd get so many brownie points if he just showed up in the supporter section and then just shirt off, just swinging it. But he didn't do it.
Well, it's a great move if you win, but it sets you up to massive criticism if your team doesn't go win the game. I think is the problem.
This is true.
With that move. Yeah,
this is true.
But there are two guys that are going to be there, and basically it's a situation where Miami has Messi and Charlotte has Zaha. But Wilf was asked about that and sort of the superstar showdown aspect of this matchup. He kind of downplayed it because he knows that Charlotte FC is chasing MLS history, baby.
There's no real introduction for Messi. But like I said, the only thing is, I feel like all the talking's done once the whistle's blown. That's all that matters. We know what we want. So I feel like I'm just fixated on what we do on the day. As much as I appreciate Messi and I know he's a GOAT, he's the GOAT. Do you get what I mean? It's Ronaldo and Messi, do you get what I mean? But as soon as I'm playing against you, I couldn't care less about all of that stuff, bro. I know what we want to do and we're trying to get the 9th win, so that's what I'm fixated on.
It's all about that 9th win, baby, and that's how it should be. Where do you see Messi playing into this game? Where do you stand with Messi? He got the day off of the second Argentina qualifying game, should be well rested. Are you terrified of what Wilf Zaha is going to bring into your defense at the Fortress on Saturday? What's the situation?
No, I told you I thought Saha was overrated. All season I've been telling you that, right? I've been telling you that I think Saha is a bit overrated.
Okay.
But no, Messi should play. Where he's going to play is the question, because Luis Suarez, even though he's 100 years old and he shouldn't be playing 90 minutes, has started just about every game, has played 90 minutes every game. So we don't really know what this team looks like without Luis Suarez. Mascherano hasn't had a chance to experiment with that. So we have no idea what this lineup is going to look like. What I would love is to see Messi up top as a false nine and have Segovia and Baltasar Rodriguez on flanking him on each wing, because they are good on the ball. They can create for others. And then you have Jordi Alba and Ian Frey pushing up. That's what I hope to see from Messi and this lineup. But again, the fear is that somehow Allende is going to end up top, and that would be absolutely horrible. And then I see George put Saha versus Falcon. Well, Falcon, short, slow. Our center backs, we are very unhappy with our center backs. We are very slow. Now, I don't know if Dean Smith is still playing that boring style of ball. But if you guys are playing that boring counter-attacking ball, that is the way to beat Miami, because Miami will push up with numbers. They will play a high line, and they will leave themselves susceptible to the counter, because they will leave plenty of spacing for you to run in behind. And with our slow center backs and our slow center defensive midfielder in Busquets, that is where we suffer. So if that's the Dean Smith game plan for this game, you guys have a good chance.
Well, first off, let me just say that Dino has abandoned the boring style. My boyfriend Dino, I scared him away from playing boring. So he's
I remember.
He's thoroughly sworn off that style thanks to me. I'll take the credit this time. Sometimes I shy away from it, but tonight I'm taking it. And second off, we don't have Dino. Dino's suspended. He's gone. He's going to be in the supporter section. So it's really what Miles Joseph is going to do. And we heard Zaha say earlier that it's really, once the players get out there, they're pretty much just going to do whatever they want. So I do think that not having the gaffer on the sideline is going to let the players be a little bit more independent-minded on the pitch. I think that's kind of the way it goes. I mean, they can do what he tells them to do pregame, but when he's not there yelling at them over and over again, then we'll see. Are you any worried about Zaha just making Busquets look like an old man? Great comment from Joseph Doak here.
I don't think you can make him look any older than he already has. So no, I mean, Busquets defensively isn't something that we look forward to watching. I mean, did you watch him against Orlando? I mean, when he basically gave a leg kick to Angulo inside the box, like that's what you expect from him defensively. So I don't expect much from Busquets. Defensively, what you want him for is for those long through-out balls to Messi. He's the one that helps connect the back line to the front line. And he also, if you press us high, which I don't know if Charlotte does, he will drop back almost like a third center back to help distribute the ball and beat that press. But that's what you look for Busquets at. And he still has the mind and the legs for that. But defensively, yeah, everybody's going to make him look old and slow.
Yeah, I think tactically it will, just, all joking aside, I think it'll be a tactically conservative game plan from Charlotte. I don't think that they'll be pressing too much, but we'll see. I mean, maybe the coaching staff will decide. I don't think that's something that Charlotte typically does, but what Charlotte does typically do is adapt tactics game to game based on the opponent. So, Daniel, thank you so much for your time. Let's get a little bit just into sort of the Eastern Conference race here before we go. I've got, the standings, and I've got Charlotte's final 5 games run out. How do you feel about those games in hand? Where do you think is realistic for Miami to end up? And do you have a final score prediction for this Saturday at the Fortress?
Well, I do think Miami is going to end up in top of the East.
On top?
Yeah. Charlotte and Seattle are the next 2 games that they have. Those are the toughest games they have left on the schedule. Yeah. After that, they play DC, they play Toronto, they play Atlanta. They have 4 games in hand, and the majority of that schedule is pretty soft. Okay. So because of that, I do think that they will. Now, if they can get out of the next 2 games against Charlotte and Seattle with 4 points, I think they should end up, if not first, second in the East. But I do think that they'll win most of these games, and I think that they're still in the driver's seat for the Supporter Shield.
Okay, confidence. I think that means that the stakes are very high on Saturday for Miami, because these are the games where that's going to be decided. If
absolutely
one of those free wins against Atlanta and the dregs at the East.
Look, we have 9 games left, and of those 9 games, I think 7 are very winnable. The 2 question marks are the next 2, which is Charlotte and Seattle. Seattle's at home. It's on a Tuesday, so it's a short turnaround for them, and they have to travel after they play on Saturday. So I think Miami has an advantage there. So, and then Charlotte at home has only lost, I think, twice all year. So those are the 2 toughest games. Absolutely 2 toughest games. But after that, I think, like I said, when I look at that schedule, as long as they're healthy, I think that they do have a good chance. And as far as Saturday goes, just because they're coming back from that embarrassing loss in Leagues Cup, they're definitely going to come out with something to prove. Again, it's hard to predict because I have no idea what Mascherano's going to throw out there. If he throws out what I want to see out there, I do think that they can win because I have no idea. I don't know. But Messi magic in the regular season always seems to come through one way or another. So I'm just going to put out there a 2-1 win. We can't seem to hold we can't get a shutout, but it's impossible. We're not going to shut anybody out. So you will score, but I'll say Messi magic gets us 2.
I like that. I love the idea that we're guaranteed a goal. The Messi button, that's what John and I talked about in our previous episode this week, was just that Miami is, whatever you think about them, they have that magic button they can hit that just says Messi on it, and you never know. At some
point, he's going to make it happen. I don't know how, but he makes it happen one way or another.
It is a birthday weekend for you, if I'm not mistaken, right? So maybe you can hope for a little birthday magic on top of that all. Feliz cumple for sure. We appreciate that. I have one bonus question that I didn't mean to bring up, but just since we have a couple minutes left. First off, shout out to Jonathan Van Gelder here from Seguin, Texas. We love that. We love our Texans. I came to Charlotte from Texas. I got my Texas roots. But this is a question I should have thought of. Thank God Joe Doak did. Well, we've got a Miami guy here, and I know you've had some complex thoughts on Drake Callender over the years. I think you preferred him to Ustari, if I'm not mistaken. How do you feel about losing Drake to the Crown? Is he already well missed in Miami?
Drake Callender is the most underappreciated athlete I've seen in the short history for InterMiami. He stood on his head in 2023, and in 2024, and Miami fans watching this all roll their eyes. That's fine. We had the worst defense by far. By far. Everybody at the end of the season 2024 was like, oh, Miami, it is by far and away the worst defense in the league. You know what? Statistically, only 5 teams allowed less goals than we did.
Yeah.
So we weren't that bad. You know why? Because Drake Callender stood on his head.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't appreciate that. They're like, okay, but he doesn't fit this style of play. He's not good with his feet. That's fine. And that's why I understood. He does it. He's not that great with his feet, but he's a great shot stopper. So I'm sad to see him go. I think that he was underappreciated. I think he was good while he was here. He doesn't fit the style of play, and that's fair. But the way people in the fan base kind of turned on him, I think it was a little disgusting. I think it was unfair, and I think he's underappreciated. And if he ends up being your starter next year, you're going to love Drake. Drake was awesome.
Yeah, and as Jorge Torres points out, he was there at the autograph signing event tonight, meeting the fans already.
Such an awesome person.
I think
such an awesome person.
Kalina, the reigning goalkeeper of the year, it was him and Callender were kind of the 2 finalists last year. I think Callender has a very good shot to at least fight for that number 1 jersey next year. Even though Kalina has the contract extension, I think it's going to be a battle in spring camp when this season's over. I think Kalina's got it, for the rest of this year unless something happens. But Callender will have a chance to fight for that number 1.
And Kalina wasn't great with his feet either, right?
Yeah. No, Kalina's horrible with his feet. Yeah, exactly.
So there you go.
We fell behind the Red Bulls last game, almost lost the win streak because of Kalina making a bad pass out, playing out of the back. So Jonathan Van Gelder from Seguin, Texas predicts 3-2
Miami.
Guys.
Miami. Yeah.
I like the prediction. Anybody else want to get him in the last couple seconds here? I'm going to predict the opposite of you. I'm going to go 2-1 Charlotte wins at home. I think the Messi button only works once. Toklamati scores. Zaha scores. Vargas is involved. Hopefully Pep Biel comes back. If Pep Biel comes back, you guys are totally screwed, by the way. Has not been confirmed. We should get some news tomorrow from Dean Smith. But Daniel, thank you once again for coming in. Tell us a little bit about Battered Herons and Battered MLS fans and where people can find you, because your commentary is great. You always come prepared and you know your shit. We really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. Sorry I was on a little late.
So everyone's at the autograph event. It's all good. It all works out. Yeah, no worries.
Battered Herons, as InterMiami podcast, we talk 4 to 5 times a week InterMiami. If you are just a Messi fan, you can jump on also. They give me a lot of hate because I'm not a fanboy, but I do appreciate his greatness. If you want to hear InterMiami in Spanish, we do Las Garzas. We come on once or twice a week. And we do Battered MLS Fans. We try to come on twice a week, if not at least once a week, where we talk general MLS, and that's Battered MLS Fans. Danny's been a part of that show plenty of times, and they're actually going to be live at 10 o'clock. So if you want to hear a little more MLS talk, Battered MLS Fans is the channel.
Go there right now. Go there right freaking now. It's perfect.
Eric from LAFC. Yeah, Eric from LAFC. We're going to have Ty from the Columbus Crew. They're talking about their new signings, the Sun Effect, hear what they have to say about the suspension and all that other stuff. So we'll be talking about all MLS. I won't be a part of it, but Chris is running that tonight. So
excellent.
Appreciate you.
Time to jump over. We appreciate you. We appreciate everyone in the comments. We're going to wrap it up here before it hits 26-minute mark. Thanks, everyone. It's for the crown, baby.